Good morning and welcome to Farm Factor. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom. On today's show, Kyle Bauer is visiting with Sandy Johnson, the Emergency Preparedness Manager at the Kansas Department of Agriculture. Then enjoy this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Next, Kyle Bauer continues the preparedness conversation with David Hogg with KDA. Then it's this week's Kansas Farm Bureau Update, and we'll end with Plain Talk featuring Kyle and Duane. Stay with us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor. Up first, Kyle Bauer is visiting with Sandy Johnson, the Emergency Preparedness Manager at the Kansas Department of Agriculture.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer visiting with Sandy Johnson. She's Emergency Management Coordinator for KDA. I have sat through a project that they have been doing for a number of years here in Manhattan. If you will, planning for that very bad day when something catastrophic could happen to the herd of Kansas and its livestock.
Yeah, we've been working on this since I've been in state government, actually, but over the years, we do an exercise every year in December to test our plans and SOPs, our procedures for what we would do in response to an outbreak of foot and mouth disease in North America. We start with an outbreak. Sometimes we start it here, sometimes we start in another country or another state, but we know if it happens on the continent, we are not just going to sit here and wait for it to get here. So a lot of the work we're doing is to mitigate the effects if it gets here or when it gets here, and to work with producers to help them prevent from getting it in their herds as well.
Your first exercise was in 2009, but then you had kind of a skip to several years. There was a reason why you had to skip several years after 2009.
In 2009, we did an exercise with the Midwest Partnership in Oklahoma on a checkpoint drill. So we learned a lot. Unfortunately, we learned so much, and so many things happened in those intervening 4 years. It took us until 2013 to have another exercise. But we had, changes within state government where animal health as a department was absorbed in the KDA. We had our move from Topeka to Manhattan, so we were looking at how does that affect our relationship with other state agencies. We learned a lot in the exercise in 2009 that just took us a long time to resolve in a way that was worth testing again.
And now it's truly an evolutionary project. As I sat through the meeting today, we're talking about small details that could mean a lot on that day, but trying to identify every possible problem.
Exactly. And if you're doing it I'd much be rather doing it today, when I'm comfortable, I have lunch, I have all the right people sitting at the table, than during an outbreak or something bad happening where there's a lot of stress, all the right people aren't there. I mean, for us to talk through a problem and take a couple hours is so worth it, because in an outbreak, we can do it in 5 minutes because we've already done it. And we've seen that every year with our exercises. Things happen much quicker.
There was more than 100 people in that room, and every one of those people had a vested interest or were probably going to be called on in case some sort of emergency like this happened.
Yes. So our team is more than half the agency. So all the employees that work here, they volunteer to do this. They're not required to by their supervisor or anyone. So that's awesome that we have such a great team here at the department. Our partners and other state agencies have always supported us at KDOT, the Highway Patrol, KDHE, the other state agencies. I mean, we definitely have, and a lot of that is because we've done this so many years in a row. They know their roles, they're comfortable with it. We have a little fun with it, but it's really very professionally done. We try to be as realistic as possible. And each year we're adding more industry participation as well. So to have an actual dairy or processor or a feed yard person, today we had a meat processor. I mean, to have folks, every year we bring more people into it, and it really helps us know what are those problems going to be.
We're visiting with Sandy Johnson. She's Emergency Management Coordinator for Kansas Department of Agriculture. I'm Kyle Bauer. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source, together we grow.
All over the country, more and more communities are making the change to biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil. And the decision continues, improving the health and welfare for millions of Americans while adding billions to our national economy.
This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Lacey Strickland joins us. She will be a senior at Lebec County High School and was the recipient of the FFA State Proficiency Award in oil crop production. Lacey, can you briefly discuss your SAE and how it was related to the award area?
I have two older brothers, my dad and I, that just really had a passion for farming growing up. You know, I was always the annoying little sister that wanted to be one of the boys for the longest time and was trying to grasp any knowledge that I could. And, you know, over the years, I kept listening and I kept listening. It's hard, especially being a woman in this field. You really have to prove yourself to have, you know, my dad and my brothers put some real faith and trust behind me. And I had to prove myself so I could gain more roles and responsibilities, you know, in this area for myself. So it was starting out sitting on a Carhartt jacket, learning how to drive at 7, moving the old truck to and from fields to help them, you know, get moved around, to today I can operate auto steer. I can, you know, go to the fields, cultivate, and really stepped up my roles and responsibilities over the few years to help out the family farm.
What do you think has been the greatest challenge you faced in this award area, and how did you overcome it?
I think the biggest thing is the weather. With the farm being located in southeast Kansas, Lebec County, you can be 2 weeks from a flood and you're 2 days from a drought. And so you have to kind of be a little bit more proactive with the weather and stuff, and be more thankful when you're thinking of what you're going to apply, whether that be the fertilizers and stuff. And time management is a big one, because, you know, I'm the kind of person that wants to go, 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 and you really have to be careful on when you want the go, go, go aspect versus slowing down and take it back and really thinking things through before, you know, you're just jumping towards decisions. You know, my dad and my brothers have really helped me out in that aspect.
What are some of those experiences and opportunities that you think is going to impact you as you move on in the future?
I think what's really taught me is that, you know, you really have to have a strong work ethic for it. Work ethic is the biggest thing that you need in life, especially in school and even in farming and stuff. Like, there's always something to be done around the farm, and, you know, there's always something to be done in life. You really have to be determined and stuff. You don't really want to slack off. You always want to stay persistent and keep going, keep that drive going. And that's one thing that my parents really instilled on me through farming and in life.
And the Kansas Soybean Commission is the sponsor of the FFA State Proficiency Award in oil crop production. Lacey, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that was Lacey Strickland, who joins us. She's a senior at Lebec County High School and the recipient of the FFA State Proficiency Award in oil crop production, who joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more about emergency preparedness with Kyle Bauer and David Hogg.
What if U.S. soybean oil were an industry sensation? If end users started asking for it by name? That future is here. The time is now. To meet customer demands, the Soybean Checkoff is investing in varieties that produce oil with increased functionality. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
What does a brighter, more sustainable future look like in our cities and towns, and how do we get there? When New York needed an alternative fuel source to reduce carbon emissions, the city found what it needed in biodiesel made from U.S. soybean oil.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandarin with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
Summer is busy at Tarwater Farm and Home. We have just about everything you'll need for your summer projects, and we're consistently competitively priced. Tarwaters can help make your grass and garden grow. And we have a huge variety of equipment to cut it. If you have a farm, Tarwaters has the products and equipment to keep it going strong. And our expanded parking lot will make it even more convenient to shop. So come see us at Tarwater Farm and Home in Topeka. This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
We're back. Now Kyle Bauer and David Hogg talk more about the state's emergency preparedness plan.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer, visiting with David Hogg. He's Assistant Emergency Management personnel with the state of Kansas. One of the things when it comes to emergency management relies on volunteers, and part of your job is to try to recruit those folks.
Absolutely. You know, we know that in a major incident, there aren't enough of us around the state. And so in some kind of an incident across the state, whether it's a foreign animal disease event or a natural disaster, anything that really impacts agriculture, we're looking for folks that would like to come on board and help us respond and then recover to that event.
What sort of jobs would these volunteers be doing?
There's really a wide range. We have 23 positions that we've identified, anything from animal handling, cleaning and disinfecting, to more office type things with communication specialists, finance and administration. It's really up to the individual of what their background is, what they're interested in, and what they feel comfortable doing.
And these folks probably would likely not have to travel far.
Correct. Really our goal would be to have volunteers in every county in the state. The goal is always to keep them as close to home as possible. If that's here in Manhattan or if it's anywhere from Donovan County to Gray County, we want to keep people as close to home as possible.
And of course, I assume there would be some training involved.
There are. We do one-day training workshops across the state. There's also an opportunity to do some training online. And it depends on kind of what your position is, what you're wanting to do. But then there's some things that are just sort of universal, that we want everyone to kind of be on the same page with incident management.
This age, from what you've described, I would think it would take a person that had really quite a lot of experience in life, but not necessarily.
No, really it's about the willingness to be useful. It's a willingness to really serve the industry and really just a love for agriculture in Kansas. It's really who we're looking for.
If you could have anything you wanted, how many volunteers would you have in your bank?
We would love to have a few hundred, honestly. The goal is at least one per county, but we would love to have 200-300, just knowing that in a major event, we're going to need a lot of folks.
So if people want to at least inquire more, how might they do that?
They can go to our website. It's agriculture.ks.gov, and then / and then the letters are KAERC. It stands for Kansas Agriculture Emergency Response Corps. They'll have, that's the easiest way to find information about what we're doing.
Now, what you're doing, though, is that through the Kansas Department of Agriculture? We're at a meeting today in KDA, but are you through KDA?
Yes, yeah, this is a program sponsored by KDA. People that become volunteers will be responding under the authority of the Secretary of Agriculture. And we actually have the opportunity to make people temporary part-time state employees if they're activated in a major incident. And this allows us to give people protection with workman's comp, liability, and even to potentially reimburse them for their time for volunteering.
We're visiting with David Hogg. He's Assistant Director of Emergency Management for the Kansas Department of Agriculture. Back to you, Jamie.
Thanks, Kyle. Come back after the break for this week's Kansas Farm Bureau update.
I dug trees by hand for years and years and years. In the process, I wore out my rotator cuff. But when I learned about this process, I thought if there's a way to get rid of this pain, then I wanted to do it. So we did it, and it worked. I'm not going to go out and dig trees with a shovel anymore, but I can do the things that I want to do now.
Heinen Brothers, a fourth-generation Northeast Kansas farm family, knows how tough farming can be. Farmers helping farmers. Heinen Brothers Ag, selling and servicing crop protection products, fertilizer, anhydrous ammonia, cover crops, quality aerial and ground application. Call today to learn about our extended term financing program. 800-760-4964. HeinenBrothersAg.com.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at KFRM.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Farm Bureau Update.
Hi, I'm Megan Kramer with Kansas Farm Bureau, and today we have Leanne with us. And Leanne, tell me a little bit about Farm Bureau reaching out to its members recently about getting some feedback on cell phone coverage across the state.
Absolutely. So Kansas Farm Bureau is really excited, and we were recently granted a waiver from the Federal Communications Commission to challenge coverage maps across Kansas. And basically what this means is right now, carriers across Kansas have said that we have adequate cell phone coverage, but we know that that isn't true. So we're asking Kansans to complete speed tests and help us prove to the FCC that we don't have the coverage that we deserve.
Okay, where would people go to learn more about the speed test, how to download it, that type of thing?
So visit kfb.org/connectingkansas. There you'll find information about how to download the app, how to run the speed tests. So basically what you'll do is you download the FCC speed test app. Then when you're in an area that doesn't have good coverage, you'll run that test and you'll send the results to us. We'll use those to compile them and send them to the FCC.
Okay. We've had a lot of feedback on social media. People are super excited about this because they know that cell phone coverage is sometimes hard to find depending on where you're at in the state. Why is it important for farmers and ranchers to have good cell phone coverage?
Yeah, we know that cell phone coverage is becoming a necessity for so many different areas of life, and farming and ranching is no different, whether that's precision agriculture, GPS services, lots of different things, as well as for rural communities, whether that's the access to quality education, emergency services. We know that it's important, so we want to make sure that we're doing our part to make sure that Kansans have the adequate coverage they deserve.
And how long will this test go on? How long do people have to do the test?
We're hoping to wrap it up in 2 to 3 months, so we can compile all that information and get it back. In the summer months are the perfect time to do it because it's nice weather, and that won't affect how the tests come out.
Okay, and tell me once more where people go for more information.
kfb.org/connectingkansas.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be back after the break with Plain Talk.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com. And you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com. And with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
With nearly 100 years of broadcasting excellence, Ren Radio is now live on the internet playing hit songs of the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Join Jack Diamond, Mac Collins, Les Glenn, Frankie C., Antonio Barber, Wings Callahan, and the real Don Steele for some of the best music ever recorded. Hear it at rendigitalmedia.com or get the Ren Oldies Radio app in Play Store or App Store and tell Alexa, good times and great oldies on Ren Internet Radio.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk with Duane Toews.
Kyle Bauer, your equine fact or fiction of the day.
Right.
The anatomy of a horse has 405 bones in total. Fact or fiction?
I wouldn't think a horse would have near as many bones as a person, and a person has like 220, don't they? Tell me that, and then I'll tell you on the horse.
I didn't take human anatomy.
I didn't
physiology.
either, and that's why I went
Didn't think I
major.
could pass.
Yeah,
Therefore,
exactly.
I was a smart college student. Pick classes that you can pass, son.
Exactly.
You know, there's a little bit of truth to that.
Well, I know
honestly.
more than one guy that changed majors more than once to avoid a certain class.
Yeah.
Several of them were my
405
friends.
bones in a skeleton of a horse.
Yeah, no, that's fiction.
It is fiction. There are 205.
Okay.
I think the human body may be 218.
That's where my mind was, right there.
It seems like that number sticks in my head.
I thought it was right in that neighborhood.
Lots of numbers stuck in my
So,
head.
we're talking about the most fun states in America.
Fun states.
Fun states. Now, let's not be going around looking for all of them. Let's just talk about out here in our part of the world.
Okay.
Okay, Kansas and our adjoining states.
All right, those that touch us by boundary.
Right, so you rank them, Duane. And, well, you'll want to know what the criteria is for a fun state,
Well,
wouldn't you?
I was kind of curious.
Okay, most restaurants per capita.
Okay.
Or least. Okay.
Yeah.
Most movie theaters per capita.
All right.
Most golf courses per capita.
Golf courses, movies,
Yeah.
restaurants.
Now, wait a minute. Oh, what's that one?
And you chopped one off?
I chopped one off. That's probably the most important one. That's the one that's going to
Probably
weight
the
the
one
heaviest.
thing that I would have.
No, I'm sorry. That's the golf courses.
Okay.
Most performing arts theaters.
Performing arts?
Most fitness centers per capita.
That doesn't sound like fun to me.
Now here's a
There's
hard
nothing
one.
fun about a fitness
And that's
center.
it's like. That'd be fun if they didn't have those. Most skiing facilities. That's going to skew things a little bit.
I wonder who might lead the pack there.
Yeah, but here's another one. Most marinas per capita.
Marinas.
So then that would,
There aren't
that would
very
get the
many
lake.
marinas.
Well, on lakes there would be some, right? That's a
big
marina.
lakes. Yeah.
Best access to national parks. That's going to hurt Kansas a little.
I don't have many national parks. We got that Grassland National Park in the Southwest.
High variety of arts and entertainment and recreational establishments. Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute. The highest personal expenditures on recreation and highest state and local expenditures on parks and rec.
Parks and Rec.
Okay, so you've already got.
I've already made up my mind.
All right,
I've got them
we'll
in
see
order.
how you go. All right.
I'm going with Colorado number 1.
You're right.
I'm going with Missouri number 2.
You're right.
Oklahoma number 3.
You're right.
Kansas number 4.
Yeah.
And Nebraska a failing 5th.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Oh
no. No.
Kansas and Nebraska are switched?
Switched.
Really? Kansas is last out of the
Kansas is 41st out of 50.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't that disappointing? No fun, Kansas.
Here.
That's right. Nebraska's 31st.
And we're clear to 40th.
And we're 41st.
10 behind Nebraska.
But wait a minute. Okay. Now you think about fun places to go. It's like, all right, I'll accept that. But surely we could beat Iowa. I mean, what is fun
there in
about
Iowa to go to see in Iowa?
You can go see a John Deere museum.
Okay.
Well,
is there Amana Colonies?
That's one. I've been there, though, and I wouldn't put that as a funner thing to do.
Okay.
Okay.
That's on the travel and tourism list.
Yeah, no, Iowa's even higher than Nebraska.
Really?
It's their 29th. Nebraska's 31st, and Kansas is 41st.
That's almost humiliating.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.